Good morning. Thank you for joining today's webinar, which describes some of the key features and addresses some of the use cases and benefits of Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud Service. You may submit questions in the right-hand panel on your screen during the webinar, and we will leave time at the end of the presentation for a quick Q&A. Today's presenter is Mija Deering, Principal Solutions Manager at Edgewater Ranzal. Mija?
Great. Thank you, Joey. So again, today's topic is titled De-mystifying Enterprise Performance Reporting Cloud Service. A lot of acronyms. EPRCS. So in this 30-minute webinar, we hope to address some of the key questions about what EPRCS is, how can it address my reporting needs, and just go through some of the key features very quickly. So EPRCS, as you know, is one of the many cloud services that Oracle offers. So you can see here in this panel that there's a number of them, and EPRCS is one of the cloud-based offerings that interacts and integrates with the other cloud services. And it's unique in its own way for its special purposes. So every organization, regardless of industry, size, public or private industry, is responsible for preparing financial statements, as well as reports and reporting packages that contain narrative information like the one I have shown here. Those reports contain the company's performance as well as results. And traditionally, this process has been and continues to be very manual intensive, prone to human error associated with typos and manual data entry. Often it's difficult to manage when there's multiple users that are involved and responsible for contributing to the reporter reports. And this often makes collaboration very challenging. It's often difficult to enforce security and controls, and you may have in certain situations where users who are contributing or authoring portions of the report may not or should not have access or visibility to some of the sensitive information, if there is any in the reports that you need to distribute. So enforcing those security rules is sometimes a little bit difficult. Currently today, difficult to obtain visibility into the overall status of the process. So with reporting challenges today, as the report preparer and report owner, it's hard to see, where is everybody? Are they completed? Have they submitted? Have they prepared? Where are we with the review process? And it's also it's difficult and challenging to efficiently manage different versions as well as provide audit trails. Here's an illustration, just to showing you some of the narrative in terms of some of the reporting packages that are delivered. And with these reporting needs, many organizations have packages or templates that require monthly or quarterly or even annual updates. Users would typically often save them using the prior month's or last version, and then go through the process of making updates as necessary. So you can see in here, you may go through and update the current period, you may update the current year or prior year, and any of the key financial metrics that you're trying to report off of and distribute. And often this is done manually, so hence you can see the potential for human error. Corporate reporting packages also include perhaps some examples of or tables or charts that are representative of reports. So your reporting package may contain, for example, a sample of your income statement, a consolidated balance sheet, it may have a cash flow, and then other tables that captures, again, some of the key financial results and indicators that you want to share with part of your reporting package. So as part of this, users are often typically creating screenshots. So the data is dumped into Excel, they create a chart, then they copy and paste the screenshot into the reporting package, and then subsequently there may have been updates back to the data, and then someone has to go through the process again of updating the charts and so forth. So you can see, again, this is another potential pitfall of the current processes in terms of reporting. So this is an illustration that I wanted to just kind of share with you of some general outlines of what a common reporting package might look like. So you can see that most reporting packages contain at a minimum, a cover page, table of contents, maybe an executive summary or introduction, and then the details or the body of the report, and then often a conclusion or summary, and maybe followed by some appendices, which may be tables or other charts in there. So in this example, we have two examples. Example one is the quarterly business review, and you can see that there's sections for, again, the cover page, table of contents, the business review, financials, and references in there. And then example two, over on the right-hand side, is an example of a reporting package that's broken out, basically, again, high-level consolidated maybe information about your organization. This is a country-by-country report. And then you may have different owners who are responsible for their respective countries. So they're actually contributing and participating in the compilation and development of this report. In both examples, different contributors may be responsible for their portion of the actual reporting packages. And in these situations, many organizations leverage combination of common tools, such as email, SharePoint to manage this process. They often also use a shared network drive where they store the common objects, and then as people go and update them, then they save them back to the shared repository. But as good as these tools may be, they still fall very short in addressing the challenges that users face related to corporate reporting. So what to do and why EPRCS? EPRCS is a purpose-built solution that is specifically used to support management and narrative reporting, just like the examples that I showed you previously. EPRCS supports a variety of corporate performance reporting needs, and this may include any, in terms of the category of compliance and external reporting. You might have to prepare 10Ks, 10Qs, annual reports, treasury reporting, and now it actually supports regulatory reporting and XBRL, using the newly added disclosure management option capabilities. You may have to produce internal or management reporting, and this might be your monthly or quarterly reports, board review reports and packages, plan or budget books, and maybe some strategic plans. So EPRCS enables collaboration in a secure environment. So each reporting package is comprised of multiple docklets, and these docklets can be in Word or PowerPoint and can leverage style templates. So that's actually good because actually it makes it more efficient in terms of managing things like formatting, guidelines in terms of the document margins, headings and footers and so forth and so on. So it eliminates some of those kind of manual interventions in there. These components or docklets can be grouped into sections, just like the illustration I showed you previously on the report package. And then you can assign different users and groups to each docklet. So that's actually a key benefit of leveraging EPRCS. It also facilitates workflow process by component, not by report, and that's huge. So it enables the key contributors to view the tasks or responsibilities that they've been assigned to. They can view key dates associated with the preparation of each reporting package by phase. They can view the dates to prepare, author, or to review the reports. And then these dates are by docklet or component. And within EPRCS, you can actually display the visual cues and alerts, and you'll send email notifications if there's any changes in responsibility. So it also displays messages that users can view or take action on. And finally, EPRCS enables organizations to adopt a repeatable process. It maintains historical versions of each docklet, so users can actually go back and refer to them if necessary. And administrators can go and copy a previous package that was submitted and finalized and leverage the standard properties, attributes, or style templates that we're monitoring or managing, the standard formatting, document formatting, et cetera, et cetera. And it makes the creation of the subsequent report packages a lot simpler. Some of the other key reasons and benefits of EPRCS is the integration with MS Office. And this is for authoring the content, formatting the content, and then also with output. So this includes all the key ones such as Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. If you're already an existing Oracle EPM customer, EPRCS can leverage data in those existing on-premise or cloud-based applications. And this includes applications such as Essbase, HFM planning, PBCS, EPBCS, FTCS, etc. So basically you can extend the use of the common Oracle EPM reporting tools that we all know and love, such as financial reports. So you can actually continue to import the grid or an entire report into your Word or PowerPoint document. You can continue to leverage Smart View, which you can use the Smart View copy paste functionality on the Smart View ribbon. Or you can actually just create ad hoc analyses and then import those name ranges as part of your reporting document docklets. And you can also consume as part of your content any OBIE dashboards and content through the use of Smart View. If you're not an Oracle customer or the situation warrants it, you can create an Essbase Lite application within EPRCS. You can basically configure a simple model to load data from external or other sources. The only thing you have to keep in mind is that this is a very basic and limited. So you can't do all the feature functionalities that you can normally within a traditional Essbase application. And then you can leverage the management reporting to consume some of that information. And lastly, EPRCS takes advantage, similar to other cloud-based products, such that you get access to upgrades, patches, new functionality when they're made available, so it's much quicker than on-premise solutions, and there's really very little to no IT investment. So all the benefits of using cloud. Within the workflow processes, there basically are 3 phases as part of the report package preparation and delivery, and then there's also specific roles associated with it. As a report owner, so if I'm responsible for the country-by-country report, I can basically go and initiate and start the process. The first phase is the authoring phase, and during this phase, the individuals who have been given the author role can go and create and update the docklet content. So they can update the docklets that he or she has been granted based upon their security. They can check out and check in the docklet so they can go through, and once those documents have been checked out, there is a little indicator, again another visual cue, that shows that the object has been locked. So then once that user has gone through and made their updates, they can go and upload and submit their revisions. One thing that's nice is that in terms of the submission is that if I'm the author who's gone and submitted my docklet, and basically the reviewer will get an email notification saying that I've gone through and submitted and updated that document. So now it's ready to be reviewed. So an author can basically view the docklet or documents that they're responsible for the due date as part of the report center. They can also view comments that a reviewer may have added, and then they can also view the user responsible for doing the approval process. During the review phase, which is started typically once a docklet has been submitted or when the report owner has gone through and enabled that phase to start. Basically, the reviewer reviews all or part of the reporting package for completeness and accuracy. So basically anything that they've been identified and tagged as being responsible for. During the review phase, you also have viewers, and viewers can just simply view. They can't make any modifications, and they can view all or part of the report package, again, that they've been assigned authorization to view. In terms of the number of review phases, organizations may typically have multiple review phases, although in EPRCS does support up to a maximum of 99 review phases. It's probably most likely that you only have 1 or 2. But if you do set up one process and then you decide during the review that you actually need to add another review phase, review 01 or review 02, you could certainly do that as necessary. During the review phase, I think one of the other key features is the ability to attach and post comments. So reviewers can add any number of comments to the document for the authors to take action upon. And there's actually a log of those comments that are tracked and maintained, and users can attach supporting files to those comments if it warrants it. And that might just be supporting documents with additional information or detail. And those comments are typically, obviously, in the supporting files are not printed out or shared when the reports are published. As a user or reviewer, they can view these comments and filter them by the owner, the status, or even the most discussed. Viewers can approve or reject updates made by the authors. And then what's really a nice feature is that if there is another review phase, all those comments are carried forward to the next review phase. So at least there's an audit or kind of evolution of the report development so that you can see that continuation as you go from review 1 to review 2. The final phase is the sign-off phase. In this case, the approver reviews the entire reporting package and approves and signs off using an electronic signature. And also the report owner can also go through and sign off as well. And then the report is then published, which could be published in Word, PowerPoint, or PDF. Throughout the entire workflow process, it's really nice because users and administrators can view the percent completed, if a phase has been started or not started or completed. You can even see the user responsible for a given docket and the status of where that user is within the process. A lot of kind of relevant information to see where you are. Again, viewing status. In terms of the EPRCS architecture, and I know there's a lot here, so I'm going to try to do it kind of quickly. But essentially, on the left-hand side, you can see that we have different sources of information. So EPRCS can consume information from Oracle, EPM, and BI from an on-premise solution, again, leveraging the same reporting tools that you're familiar with today, SmartView and Financial Reports. Part of the Oracle EPM Cloud, you can also use SmartView Financial Reports as well. And then also one of the key benefits is the new management reporting tool. And that's really going to be the future direction of financial reports creation. It's going to be the new report writer. And that actually only hooks into the cloud products, with the one exception that management reporting can take data from Oracle Analytics Cloud, which is your Essbase on the cloud, as well as Essbase on-prem. So that's the only exception in terms of a data source for management reporting. And then also within EPRCS, it creates an Essbase Lite application, which then can also be consumed using the management reporting. So again, that's the new thing. That's the new report writer. That's going to be the future direction of financial reports. And I'll just make a note that it doesn't currently have all of the feature functionality available today that financial reports has, and it's only, again, used with the cloud-based products. But the nice thing is that the data is refreshed, similar to what you would do today with financial reports in terms of updating and refreshing it within SmartView in the Word or PowerPoint document, but the data is refreshed server-side. And then the reports and grids and charts that are created using management reporting can then be embedded in what we call reference docklets that can have those grids and views, and then also added to your reporting packages as well. On the right-hand side just shows, again, some of the other sources of information that can be used to feed your EPRCS reporting packages. So you might have other external or third-party sources of information, and you can actually import them into your EPRCS reporting packages. And they also, I should mention also here that it could also be PDFs as well. If you are loading external data into your EPRCS, Essbase Lite application, those would be done through flat files. And then again, you can use the management reporting to create reports or grids and charts using that. In terms of once the data gets within EPRCS, you'll see that we have reporting packages, and we have our normal standard docklets, which are going to be printed off as part of your reporting package. We also have what's called reference docklets. Again, these contain the grids or the tables or the charts that are used as part of our documents in here, and then actually it's just referencing that one object itself. And then you may also have some what we call supplemental docklets, and these are simply used for backup and support. May contain some information that is used for the creation of the other docklets, but it's just simply additional detail. They're never published with the finalized reports. And then finally, the outcome at the end of the day is to produce those nice reports for you, and then also that narrative as well. In terms of security within EPRCS, there's basically just 3 levels. There's security at the system level, which is done through the cloud-based identity management. You can assign system administrators, report administrators, application administrators, library administrators, and then users and groups in here. You also have security at the artifact level. And this is where you can assign users and groups to the folders Inside of your EPRCS library, you can assign security to the applications, to any of the third-party content that you have. So that also refers to any of the docklets in there. And then lastly, you also have security at the data level. So if you were to create your Essbase Lite application, you can actually assign security to the dimensions similar to what we call security filters in Essbase. So you do that through what we call data grants, and they're created using data layers. So without a demo, I do have some screenshots of EPRCS. So this is really kind of at a glance. You'll see that as you log in, basically it looks very much like the other cloud-based products. This is leveraging the simplified interface. You'll see that on the flipboard you've got the incomplete task, you've got new messages, and this might be something that the user needs to go and view and maybe take some action on. You also see over here the cards for task lists. Again, this is kind of like planning or HFM task lists. It's just really, what am I supposed to do? And it would actually display all the docklets that I'm responsible for, and you'll get a visual view of all the sections and also the docklets, the due dates, the responsibilities, so forth and so on. It also provides dates in terms of when they're supposed to be completed and if I'm overdue. Messages, again, just key relevant information about notifications that I need to take action on, and so forth and so on. Report packages, this is really how I'm grouping my different report packages. So within here, I may have multiple report packages, again, for depending on any of my corporate reporting needs. So again, your security would dictate what you can see in here. The reports is the new management reporting tool that we mentioned earlier. That's going to be used to create those nice charts or grids that can then be consumed as part of your docklets. And again, that's part of your overall reporting package. We now see in here this new disclosure management, and I'll talk a little bit more about that. But now you have the capability of not only satisfying the needs of external reporting, but also regulatory reporting using XBRL and as well as some of the other tags in here. The library will show you basically any of the all the reporting packages, as well as any folders or artifacts, audit logs, information again that you have access to, so you can view them through here. And this is kind of a macro level view of all the applications within your EPRCS instance. You've got an application, which is the card that you would use to launch your Essbase Lite application. This is where you can manage your application and models and dimensions and so forth. I think what's most relevant in terms about the cloud-based products, as you may well know, is the Academy. This is a great resource for getting small vignettes of learning either in small videos or short videos or through the documentation online. So it's a great resource that's always available to users. More importantly, when you log in, depending on your role, and security will dictate what cards you have access to, and then once you launch a card, what's inside that you have access to. So this is that new disclosure management option. And with this option, EPRCS can now support your regulatory reporting requirements. This allows users to develop their regulatory filings basically in a unified and collective environment, similar to the other reporting needs that you have within this solution. Any organization that needs to file with SEC can generate both the XBRL as well as the Edgar HTML filing outputs from the same source within EPRCS. As part of the repeatable or rollover process, EPRCS enables the XBRL tags to be migrated, and then also leveraging some of the what we call variable-driven smart text, and I'll talk about that in just a second. You can also leverage SmartView as the authoring environment, along with the Excel and Word for some of this. And basically what it does is it creates what we call hot links, documents. So it helps you with any of the filings and preparation of your documents. And this is really used to help reduce the maintenance and ensure greater accuracy. So again, the filings can be produced in multiple formats, again, XBRL, PDF, or the Edgar HTML, basically according to your needs. And then lastly, again, within here, as part of the disclosure management option. You also can leverage the same authoring, reviewing, versioning, and comment features available. So this is just an add-on, again, to kind of address some of those needs for those customers who had to provide these regulatory reports. This is the library. Again, this just shows you at a macro level all of the inventory of reporting packages or applications that you may have available, or reports. And then you can see on the left-hand side just the data sources in here. So again, you can go through here to access any of those objects that you may have access to. This is the report center. Again, this is the visual that shows you a combination of the workflow as well as the task list in here. So you can see the various phases that we talked about earlier in terms of the author phase, the review phase, or the sign-off phase. You can see the status. So you can see that in this instance, a lot of the dates in here in terms of the authoring are overdue, that zero has been completed. These other phases have not even been started. Down below you can see the various sections of the reporting package and the individual docklets. And then you can see who is actually responsible for that particular docklet and who is the author in here. Now if you were in the review phase, this view would change slightly in here, because then you would see not the responsibility, but then you would see the comments in here. So just a different view in here, and then you can click on the comments to now view all the different items that have been posted in there. This is what I was referring to before as part of that smart text variable. And any of you who've actually worked with Essbase or planning are familiar with the concept of substitution variables. And basically what it allows you to do is create these variables that can then be used throughout your document, and they may reference specific static values that are represented as text, like for example the month of May or a year. Or they could actually represent numeric values, what we call reference variables in here. And then when you create your reporting package, you can actually embed them as part of your document. And then this way, for example, in my report titles, I may have a current period in here, and this period variable may be distributed and used throughout my reporting package. I only update it once. In any instance where I'm using that variable, that value will be updated. So it kind of simplifies a lot of the maintenance for me. You can see that there might be some other just high-level key indicators, again, that might be reported and printed off throughout my document. I can create some common variables and then, again, leverage them throughout my reporting package. These variables are unique to each reporting package, so I can leverage the same current year in one reporting package and another reporting package, and I can set the values to be differently. So they are reporting package specific. And not only can I see them via Word using the Smart View interface, but I can also view them in Smart View using Excel. Again, there's just two types in here. It's just called static and reference in here. This is kind of a quick little preview of that new management reporting tool out here. And again, this will be ultimately the future of the financial reports in terms of creating reports. Again, right now it works with the Oracle EPM Cloud products only, with the exception noted previously. But it is used, and what happens is that when you're creating your reporting packages, these grids or objects in here are then embedded into your report or reference docklets. And you can also use them for the charts as well as the grids. And again, what's nice about them is that they can then be refreshed. This is a view of the performance reporting toolbar that you would see using Word, for example. And you can see in this instance that, again, on the right-hand side, you'll see that I've got my Smart View panel, and then you've got your performance reporting ribbon. And here in Word, for example, I can check out or cancel my checkouts or check in my documents. I can go and upload documents. I can do submit, approve, and do some workflow processes in here. And I can also refresh the data or even like refresh the embedded content in here. So kind of similar to what you've done before, but also leveraging some of the features like you would see in SharePoint, where you can manage the versioning and control of who has responsibility for that particular document. So again, it preserves a lock on here. This is a view of the Smart View ribbon in Excel. Again, it looks exactly the same as pretty much as what you saw in Word, but in here I can now go and create ad hoc analyses. I can use the copy-paste value functions that I would use in the Smart View add-in, or I can use, create Essbase or Excel-based named ranges, and then I can create them and utilize them in my reference documents to create any of those tables inside of my reporting packages. So this is a great feature to be able to leverage this as well. And again, you can see over here on the right-hand side the reporting package that I'm working on. It's the status, it's in progress. I can see within my report center any of the documents that I have access to, and I can see that it's late. So I get some warning messages and so forth and so on. So I can use the same kind of familiar interface that we have for managing some of my report templates. This is the screen, so if you were to leverage the Essbase Lite applications that you can create within EPRCS, this is the view, for example, of the accounts dimension here. So again, just keep in mind that it's not full use Essbase in terms of leveraging all the unique capabilities of Essbase. It's quite simplistic, but you can you can create hierarchies within here. You can assign multiple aliases within here. You can manage some of the consolidation tags, the data storage, time balance, get missing, and identify if that member is an expense or non-expense to support your variance reporting. So it doesn't have all the bells and whistles in terms of what you would do with an on-premise solution for Essbase or even the cloud-based solution, but it is nice because I can actually load data here from external sources or even just other Essbase applications that I need to get into my report. So how can we help you? Please contact Edgewater or Ranzal if you want to see a demo of EPRCS and see it live, or if you need some help getting started. We offer consulting services, and actually as it relates to the EPRCS implementation, we do offer fixed scope. So if you wanted to kind of kick the tire, so to speak, we have some fixed scope and quick start offerings. So if you'd like to try that out, we can help you with that. And we also have some accelerators and domain starter kits. So if you're in a particular industry, we have a lot of that industry knowledge and expertise in here. At that point, I exceeded my 30 minutes, but I'm going to turn it back over to Joe to let you know about some upcoming webinars. And I hope you've enjoyed this presentation.
Thanks, Mija. That was terrific. We did exceed the 30 minutes, but can I just address a couple of quick questions?
Sure.
Okay. How long does it take to implement and roll out EPRCS, and what kind of resources are needed to implement the tool?
So you can actually implement EPRCS in a matter of weeks. It's not months. So it's just really subject to the types of reports that you're trying to develop. And if there's a standard template, and then what some of the guidelines are for the reporting packages, how many tables and so forth and so on. So, but it is a relatively quick implementation, and it's always one of those things that we can help you get started, and then you can just take off from there and then add additional content as needed. In terms of the resources, it's not programming, so it's not coding. Usually a functional or business-oriented person are probably the key resources, so maybe someone in accounting or finance who's responsible for preparing these reports would be the ideal resource.
Okay, is the pricing for EPRCS subscription-based similar to the other cloud products?
It is. So, if you go to the Oracle site, I believe they do share some of the pricing, but it is subscription-based. And if you were to purchase EPRCS, you would get a pre-production as well as a production instance.
Okay. And is disclosure management an additional license purchase? Does disclosure management require EPRCS, or can it be deployed with EPRCS?
So it's really a new option that just recently, just literally I think within the last month became available. So there is a separate disclosure management capabilities, but they've just included it as part of the EPRCS, and I believe it is an additional or an additional subscription cost.
Okay. All right, thanks so much, Mija. Additional questions may be emailed to us at info@ranzal.com. A recording of this webinar will be available on our website shortly, where you may also find a number of previous webinars posted. We hope you gained insight from today's webinar. Please visit our website to learn about and register for upcoming webinars, and follow us on social media to get alerts about upcoming events, training, and webinars. We have an upcoming webinar series that highlights enterprise planning and budgeting cloud service and strategic modeling. Please visit our website for more details on those upcoming webinars. Thank you to our audience for joining us, and thanks to Mija for sharing your knowledge and expertise during this presentation. This concludes today's webinar.